Good evening. Got some good news, and I want to kind of touch base with you and kind of tell you where we're at on House Bill 4145. And wow, what a wild day. And I'll kind of explain, what's going on, things to look out for, what's coming up next. So let me get my stream started, and if you guys can hear this, please let me know. Um this is really great. I'm glad to be able to share this kind of news with you guys. And obviously, we're still live in the session, so nothing has changed too much. And so we just have to just be patient and be part of it, okay? And keep up the pressure. And so let me get this all started, and we'll start talking about it. And so I appreciate you guys tuning in. Hope you had a good Tuesday. And I'm just kind of getting my thoughts around what I want to say. And there's been a lot of action today up there in the Capitol. We had people there on our working on our behalf. I had a lot of conversation with staffers, people kind of in the middle of this, and so I'm glad to be able to kind of report this kind of information to you guys. And so what it looks like is House Bill 4145. We're supposed to have a work session tomorrow. That's where they're going to be voting on this. This is where they would send it over to the either the floor, so it's got to get through this hurdle. And fortunately for us, they don't have the votes. And they are not going to have the votes. And so what they did is they postponed this till next week. So the last day for these bills to be able to move is going to be on February 16th. Okay. So these have to be scheduled to move on February 16th, or they die because they don't have enough time. Okay. So they still have to go to the other chamber. And so since we're starting off in the House, this is the way it's going to go. Okay. So tomorrow there was supposed to be a work session, and I've been working really, really hard around this behind the scenes. Tony's been instrumental in doing some of the stuff. We had some other people that were in this process, and the whole point of this was we were trying to sow enough doubt in the committee itself that they were not going to vote with Representative Jason Croft. Okay, we were successful with that. Okay, the conversations that I had today, they were very impactful. We had two of the three that we kind of had that call to action yesterday. Both of those sided with us. Okay. And so what they did is they were no votes. Okay. This is huge. This does not happen in Oregon politics. Okay. So it's very common for people, even if they don't like the bill, they still support it because that's their party. They hold their noses, they vote, it goes on in the session. Okay. What happened today was there was enough doubt created with the talking points that I introduced last week to them. And with all the follow-up conversations, it all made a lot of sense. And so we were able to get them to say, no, we're not going to vote. So he didn't have the votes. And so he pulled the work session tomorrow to save his face. Okay. He was in a position that this was probably the most unpopular bill besides the tax bill up there, because it was basically one man championing this bill. And so we were able to, basically divide the committee hearing, like all the people on the meeting, and so it's coming out to where we're going to be 5-3, and so they don't have the votes, and so they had to cancel that work session tomorrow. So this is great news for us, and this is something, we got to make sure we stay focused, we stay in this fight, because we're not out of it yet. We still have till the 16th. But I think it's really, really important is we do celebrate the fact that we did get this reprieve. It's really, really important. Okay. So the fact that we were able to get this thing canceled or pushed to the 16th is huge for us. Okay. So we're going to celebrate that little victory. And obviously, we're going to keep up the pressure. We're going to keep doing the things behind the scenes. But I wanted to give you guys that update. So the work session tomorrow has been canceled, and what we're just gonna plan for on the 16th, that we'll be back up there. what unless we hear otherwise. Okay. And so if this thing does not get scheduled, it's got to get through this work session on the 16th for this thing to go on and stay alive. And so that's something that is really great for us. And if you guys have comments, please put them in there. I'm not seeing a lot of comments. I do see Rotar, thank you so much for your support. I appreciate you. That really helps a lot. And so, we're just going to keep moving forward, and we're going to keep working the steps. Everybody's, this is huge. And the fact that we had two members on that committee, so it was 5-3 originally. So 5 Democrats, three Republicans. And so when I'm sitting there, I'm watching this stuff. I'm like, okay, I'm counting the heads. I'm like, okay, I need this person, this person, this person. And so I was putting this plan together in my head. And fortunately for me, I was able to, work a good plan and present some good, compelling evidence or some arguments that would support their constituents. And so that's how I was able to, get that no vote from them. So we're able to flip it. It was instead of a 5-3, we flipped it the other way to us, where it's 5-3 us. And so, yeah, 16th is President's Day. That's a good point. What are they going to do there? They're not going to be open on President's Day. That's a holiday. So I'll have to figure it out, but it is scheduled for the 16th. I don't know if they're going to be in session that day or what. I don't know if the 16th is just an arbitrary date for them. They just throw things at the wall and see what sticks up there, unfortunately, in the short session. And so, I just wanted to give you this good news, because it's been something that I can't always tell you what I need to tell you and what I want to tell you and want to celebrate with you, because I want to see it become locked in and be official before I kind of publicize anything, because I definitely don't want to jinx anything. I don't want to ruin any of the goodwill that we built up there. And so I just feel that we got to change, and it's a positive change for us, and it's something we're going to build momentum on, and we're going to turn this momentum into action, and we're going to continue to keep the pressure, and we're going to make this thing go away. And if we make it go away, that would be, historic here in the state of Oregon, right? Because we don't really see bills like that happen, especially gun bills. And so, that's kind of where I'm at. I want to celebrate with you guys. Just, let you guys, we can take the weekend off maybe, and we don't have to fight this stuff. But we should be prepared for the 16th. And so I'm just so ecstatic. I mean, I talked to Ed Deal today, had a great conversation with him. Tony came in clutch. And so it's great to have a great team up there. Carrie was up there. We had a lobbyist that was working up there. NRA, I spoke with them today. So everybody is working the same direction here towards a common goal, and that is stopping this stuff. Okay. And so I'm really, really thankful for the relationships that I have built up there that are turning into, I'm getting fruition, right? We're getting fruition because we're getting that no vote. That no vote was huge. And what I told their staffers is, I would make sure that we support them. Obviously, they're not on our side, but in this situation, they sided with us. And so I think it's important that we show our support for them, to say thank you for what they did. It takes, and I told them it takes great courage to side, or to not side with the talking heads, and so that was huge. And so the fact that they had the courage to do so, I think is great. And what I'm going to probably do is go to the store and get some cards, and I'm going to get some cards. I'm going to go deliver some cards maybe on Friday, when I'm up there. And so, that way I can kind of build goodwill. Maybe I'll take up some flowers or something like that, or maybe some chocolates, because it's Valentine's Day, something to show thank you for what they did. And that's how we win this game here. And it's important to be firm, and it's important to stand on your conviction, but there's also a time to build those bridges. And that's what we're doing. And so, that's kind of where I'm at. I want to give you that update. So tomorrow's good. That's going to be canceled. We're moving to February 16th, and we're just going to keep moving forward. And so I'm going to just want to give you that update. And so this right here, Yes, the delay, 'cause what it does is it could time it out, right? And so, we could I mean, one thing we should be mindful of is there is an amendment out there. I really don't want to see an amendment. I want to see the thing just die. And so and I'm not gonna talk too much about the amendment because it hasn't been put into the OLS yet. So I just want to give you that update is this is delay, kicks the can down the road, it buys us more time. And Tyler, thank you. Hey buddy, I hope you're doing good, man. It's just I'm glad you guys watch this stuff on YouTube. I do this on Facebook, and I'm glad so right here, thank you. Thank you for being a part of this. And this is not all me, right? So I'm just broadcasting to you guys in real time. There's been a lot of people behind the scenes that have done tremendous work on your behalf. You guys have done tremendous work on your behalf. You guys submitted testimony. You showed up in person, you showed up via Zoom. You were part of the process. So this is all of us celebrating together. So it's bigger than just me, okay? So it's really important to note that this is a team effort here, and we're not going to stop until this thing goes away. And then we'll celebrate. Maybe we'll have a range day. Maybe we'll do something like that. But I just want you to just give you that update. So um I appreciate your support, Drew, and celebrate, Robert. Do that. So I think that is super important. Is because we got to celebrate the wins when we get them, right? Because they don't always come often here in Oregon politics. And so if we get some victory, no matter how small it is, we're going to build upon that and continue to move forward. And so let's talk about this. Give me a moment, okay? I want to check the temperature of the room, okay? Because I definitely I know what Jason Crop's gonna be doing. He's gonna be trying to crack that whip on his committee members, okay? So I want to check with them tomorrow, see how they're feeling, and it might come that we blow him up only, right? And we protect the others because we have their vote, and we just might blow him up. And when I say blow him up, I mean his phones, his emails, and just say, no, we have a 5-3, and make sure that he knows that he does not have the power. He does not have the votes that he needs, and this thing just needs to go away. So we'll keep up that pressure. I'm gonna say that Jason Crop will probably be the one we're gonna contact. Others are gonna be off limits because we want to show them support. So we're not gonna jam them up. We're gonna say thank you. And so that's I think where I'm gonna go. I'll find out more tomorrow, and I'll let you guys know on what we're gonna do. And yes, right here. So it is unconstitutional. The problem is there is so much stuff that is unconstitutional about this bill that I don't even want to try challenging it right now. I just want to see it go away. And so that's kind of where we're headed. And so I'm thankful for that. And so yes, Tammy, thank you for your support. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you guys are part of this process because I couldn't do it alone. Like I couldn't do it without the people that are actively engaged in the group on YouTube, that are sending the emails, that are paying attention, they're reaching out to the reps. Like this is all of us working together, and this is the way it needs to work. And so that's where I'm really thankful to have everybody here, and we're all working the same direction. And so that's kind of where we're at. Um, I'll take my chances. Wink, wink, nod, nod. And I mean it from a respectful place, right? And I feel that if I brought chocolates or a card or something to say thank, and I've done that before. So when I wrote a Senate bill in 2019, that's what we did is the people that were in support, we took cards and we went and visited them, and they're all heartfelt, and it really scored points. And so obviously these people are not on our side right now or permanently, but in this situation we're going to build that goodwill because it could be next session, right? Next session when all this stuff comes back, if I build this goodwill now and they can trust us that we're going to do the right thing when they need us to, and we're not going to blow up their phones, and we're going to be civil like they are trying to be civil, I think it's only beneficial to us next session. Okay. And so that's kind of where I'm at. So yes, range day fundraiser, absolutely. There will be more details on that soon. It will be a fundraiser probably, as to because I got some big goals, and I want to write legislation. I want to write lawsuits. Or excuse me, fund lawsuits. I'm not going to write lawsuits. I got people for that, but that's the goal of this, and so that's exactly where I want to go, and this right here. I would tremendously love the how to. Yes, absolutely. This is stuff that I've learned over years and years of being up there in the Capitol. And so all my goal is to be able to get the informations up here to out to you, so you can be a more effective advocate just like me. Because if there's, let's say, 100 of me or 1,000 of me, right, that we can train and get them up to speed, that's how we stop this stuff. Okay. And I truly believe that if we can all work together, and we can translate this stuff into other parts of Oregon politics. Okay. This is obviously, I focus on the guns because that's my bread and butter. I'm a single issue voter, unfortunately. And that's just the way I am. But I'm going to go to the end for my 2A rights. And so, but there's a lot of crossover, like what's happening with the tax at 1599. And so that's kind of where I'm at. And so yeah, and Keith, there's so many, and obviously this fight is not over. And so I don't want people to have any kind of illusions here that it's over, because I don't want people to check out. We still have a couple weeks left. I just want to celebrate this little achievement and milestone with you, for me, because I feel really good about it. And it was good to be able to get that message that said that it was postponed. That was huge. And so I'm gonna celebrate that, and we will just continue to do so. And so I don't want to take too much of your time. I just want to kind of give you that update, and thank you guys for being a part of this thing. Keep up the fight, because together, if when we put out those calls to action, we do them for a reason. They're well thought out for the most part, and they mean something. And so for the people that are taking the time to get involved and actually send the emails, it is working. And so thank you for that. And so just, I'll try to give as much lead time as I can so people can get involved and feel like they're part of this process. It's probably going to move quickly, because they're not going to have a lot of time. And so we're gonna have to fight the clock as well. But we're going to do it, and we're going to stand tall together. And at the end of this, we're going to celebrate the fact that, hopefully, fingers crossed, prayers, you had our toes crossed, that we get this victory that we need. And I think that would be huge. So other than that, that's about all I got, unless somebody's got some questions that they want to have answered. And I just appreciate you guys tuning in, you know, and it's just the how to that's going to be coming very soon. And once we get through this session, I'll be able to do more in depth kind of trainings on, like this is how we do this thing. And the goal is to get into to weaponize the audience and make sure that you guys feel that your voices matters and is heard. And that's kind of where I'm at. So other than that, that's yes, 100%. 100%. Yeah. And I get that, and there's others that are expert in that arena. And so that's where I tend to stay in my lane and obviously I will support the others because the fight's really, really important to all of us as Oregonians, but I'm going to dedicate my time and my resources to what I'm good at. And in the following, I don't want to betray my audience. Obviously my audience is here for a reason, and it's to protect our 2A rights. And so I'm going to be really respectful of my audience. And so, that's where I'm at. So, I will support all the other fights though. So, um, I'm trying. I'm seriously trying. We're getting closer, man. Update a nutshell. So nutshell, tomorrow we were supposed to have a public work session on House Bill 4145. That was shelved because they do not have the votes. And so that was postponed to February 16th at 3 p.m. So in a nutshell, we got good news and we're kind of celebrating this together. And so that's something to think about is, we're not out of this fight. The fight's still going to go on for a couple more weeks. And I think that what we have going in our favor is the fact that they just don't have the vote. They don't have. I mean, when you have Ceasefire Oregon that's saying this is not a good bill, I mean that tells you something. You didn't check your crowd, and your crowd would have said no, this is not the one we want to push forward. And so I think that this is a learning experience for him. We're going to capitalize on that, and we're gonna close out this session hopefully with a victory, and then we will prepare for the next fight in the long session. So yeah, no, keep studying, man. And yeah, I would imagine that I'm gonna check the temp tomorrow morning, and I'm gonna think that our best bet is gonna go after Crop and just tell him that we're paying attention, we're rallied, and we're not going to accept this thing to move forward. And we can I can provide you. We can use the talking points that I already provided in the last video as the reason why this is a bad bill, and we just keep hammering them. Leave the other committee members alone, and let's just focus on him. He's the one that's in charge here. He's the one that pulled it out of OLIS. He's the one that assigned it to his committee, and he's the one that assigned it for the public hearing. So he is the mastermind behind all of this. And so in this time, I think it's important that we keep up the pressure on him. The others have done their part, and we are so thankful that they are a no vote. And so that's huge. The fact that we flipped it from 5-3 them to 5-3 us is huge. And I mean, buy a lottery ticket. So that's where I'm at, and I feel pretty good about it. And I'm glad I'm glad I got to give you some good news, because I feel good, and I felt good last week after we left the public hearing. I felt good. Like I trust my gut a lot of the time with this stuff, and for the most part, my gut is we're 85%, right? And so I know I can read the room pretty well. I've learned a lot from being up there inside the Capitol, and it's really helped. And I'm thankful to be able to help kind of lead this and share this information with you. So it's been fun, and it's been a lot of work, but it's fun kind of fun. So other than that, I'm gonna get off here, and I hope you guys have a good night, and I'll keep you updated. I'm gonna put out is when I know kind of what our direction is for tomorrow. I'll put something on YouTube. It might not be a video. I might just do a post. Seems like those are working out okay. And so then, or I'm going to do something in the Facebook group. So if you're not part of the Oregon Firearms Advocates group, join the group. Make sure you fill out the questions, join the group. That's the fastest way for me to get out information. Typically it's faster than YouTube. And sometimes I'm able to even, do like live things, right? So like if something just happens, I can put it on Facebook a lot faster than I can YouTube. So just a heads up, if you want like the fastest information is probably there. So other than that, I'm gonna get off here. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll talk again tomorrow. So have a good night.